Total 8 Tulsa, a total weekend news update. Brought to you tonight by Furniture Factory, Brahms Ice Cream Stores, and by Blue Cross Blue Shield.
Good evening, I'm Guy Atchley, along with Mary Rose. An 18-year-old man armed with a knife held 21 people hostage today aboard an American Airlines 727 jetliner. The hijacking suspect has been identified as Gerald James Hill of Chester, Massachusetts. The hijacking took place in El Paso while the plane was en route from San Antonio to Los Angeles. Hill allegedly held the crew and passengers for 4 hours before 2 FBI agents sneaked aboard, distracted him, and told him to drop the knife or be shot. It's been learned that Hill spent 3 weeks in basic training for the Army before the Army released him for medical reasons. It's also been learned that Hill was demanding that he be flown to Iran.
Guy, that incident in El Paso may be over, but the situation in Iran, at least, appears to be far from over. It's the 21st day of captivity for 49 American hostages inside the U.S. Embassy there. State Department sources suggest it could be some time before the release of those hostages can be negotiated. They say that prospects for negotiation would probably be better in early December once the Islamic holy days are over. More now from ABC's Richard Anderson.
There was no improvement in the situation at the American Embassy today. The students holding 49 hostages gave a Canadian television team their access to the inside, the way American teams have been admitted in the past. They did not get to see the hostages, but talked with student leaders through a translator. Question: have you told the Americans they will be killed if a rescue is attempted? Answer: no. Can the families come to visit? Answer: it's a possibility. The students refused to promise family visits or name a date. Outside the embassy, the demonstrations continued. One enterprising businessman was selling Polaroid pictures so the protesters would have something to remember their visit by. The embassy siege has turned into a field trip for school children. Whole classes are coming to see what has literally become a street show. And keeping in the spirit, the children even bring their own signs. Despite massive demonstrations by thousands all week long, the weekend finds the crowds here relatively quiet. And for the 49 American hostages, somewhere behind these gates, the long wait for a solution to the embassy siege continues. Richard Anderson, ABC News, Tehran.
What a game today in Norman.
I know you were excited about it. Super game down in Norman, Oklahoma this afternoon. What a game for Billy Sims to end his career on down in Norman. 247 yards rushing, almost 600 yards in his last 2 games in the regular season rushing for Oklahoma. That ought to put him back in contention for the Heisman Trophy. Some super highlights as Oklahoma defeats Nebraska 17-14. And of course, it's always the game of the year. We've got some great highlights to show you. We'll show you those great highlights. Oklahoma over Nebraska in just a few moments later in the sports.
Nice, huh? This is the Furniture Factory's new cuddler. You can rock in it, or swivel, or just put your feet up. It just wraps all around you. It comes in all sorts of colors, and we've got it on sale right now for only $239 for the chair and the ottoman. Oh yes, the best part, it's super comfortable. Hurry in today, won't you? At Fontana, at 51st Memorial, or Bartlesville, just north of the Holiday Inn.
In France, almonds are often used in recipes because of their hauntingly sweet flavor. And one of the most delightful French recipes combines the delicate flavor of almonds with that of rich milk chocolate. After a careful blending, a mixture is created, then frozen at the moment of perfection. The result? A French ice cream, chocolate almond, all natural ingredients. Naturally, from Brahms Ice Cream and Dairy Stores. C'est si bon.
Company insurance is like paint. If you want it to cover a lot, you have to buy a lot. Unless you find some that's formulated to spread farther. Like the new kinds of Blue Cross and Blue Shield protection. They cover more at about the same cost, with dependable health protection for large companies and small. Blue Cross and Blue Shield coverage. Considering how much it covers, it's worth every dollar.
Maybe someday, all women's watches will be made with the look of fine jewelry and the incredible accuracy of the new Lady Seiko quartz collection. Maybe someday, All women's watches will have beautiful textures and dials and never need winding on your wrist or in your jewelry box. Today, these slim, elegant quartz watches are made by Seiko. Maybe someday, all watches will be made this way.
Seiko watches available at Carl's.
A probable case of leprosy has been found in Tulsa, but health officials are emphasizing there is no reason for alarm. With a report, here is Terrell Harris.
Tulsa health officials would not release the name or sex of the victim, but they did tell us that the victim is a 20-year-old student at Oral Roberts University. Dr. Edgar Cleaver, the director of the Tulsa City County Health Department, became aware of the case Friday when a member of the health department staff discussed it with him. The type of suspected leprosy has been diagnosed as tuberculoid.
This type is definitely treatable and is not contagious. This early form really, if it's treated properly, effects are negligible, really.
The student has lived outside the United States in a household in which an individual with leprosy also lived, according to one official. The youth developed a painless lesion on his face and sought medical aid. The diagnosis was made on the basis of the student's prolonged exposure while living outside the country. A skin test is being taken by a local dermatologist and sent to a specialist in Louisiana. Oral Roberts University officials say since the case is not as serious as it was thought earlier, the student will be allowed to continue classwork. For Total 8 Tulsa, Terrell Harris reporting.
A 79-year-old Okmulgee man was found dead in his home yesterday, and authorities say the victim, Norman Hankins, had been drowned. Police have arrested the man's 39-year-old daughter, Flora Rankin. As yet, no charges have been filed.
A 31-year-old Nowata man was killed yesterday when his light plane crashed near Coffeyville, Kansas. Matthew Inzalaco died when his plane clipped some power lines, then nosedived into Highway 169 and caught fire. The cause of that crash is still under investigation. Hundreds of friends and neighbors flocked to the home of the late Reverend Richard Douglas in Okarche today. The slain minister's possessions, along with those of his wife, were put on the auction block. That auction comes just one day after the arraignment of two men charged with the couple's murder. Deborah Linder reports from Okarche.
Glenn Burton Ake and Stephen Keith Hatch appeared in Canadian County Court Friday to plead innocent to killing Richard and Marilyn Douglas. They entered the same plea to the charge of critically wounding the two Douglas children and leaving them for dead. The tragedy took place some 5 weeks ago, but it was fresh in the minds of relatives who painfully put themselves to another task today. All the Douglases' possessions and home were put on the auction block. Friends, especially the congregation of Reverend Douglas, came to buy or to just donate. Everything was auctioned to pay for the children's medical bills, which relatives say are astronomical. Marilyn Douglas's father was on hand to show potential buyers his daughter's belongings, including her sewing machine and an unfinished Indian rug. Reverend Douglas's garden tools went for several dollars apiece. Nothing, the auctioneers said, could sell too high. 13-year-old Leslie Douglas is reportedly still hospitalized, and her brother Richard is living with relatives. Law enforcement officials hope one or both of them are well enough to testify at a December 17th preliminary hearing. For Total 8 Tulsa in Okarche, Deborah Linder reporting.
The Douglas home was sold for $91,000. An extra $10,000 was raised from the home's contents. The proceeds from that sale will go to the Douglas children.
The State Health Department and the Center for Disease Control are examining samples of food from the El Reno Federal Reformatory. It may be next week until prison officials know what caused 53 inmates to become ill after eating Thanksgiving dinner. About 850 inmates and 61 staff members ate that noonday lunch on Thursday, but only 53 showed symptoms of vomiting, nausea, and diarrhea. Even though officials are not sure if food poisoning is to blame, samples from that Thanksgiving dinner are being analyzed. Prison officials say there have been no more reports of illness since that initial outbreak.
I left this land when I became a man. That was long ago. But my memories haven't left me as I wind my way back home. I'm going home to the flavor of the good old days.
J.C. Potter brought a rare gift out of the Cookson Hills. His ability to take a frosty morning, fresh spices, choice pork, and blend them into flavor-packed sausage.
Day by day, hard work and play. Somehow we got along, and the trails and scenes remind me as I'm nearing my old home. I'm going home to the flavor of the good old days.
An outstanding symphony performance depends on the talents of people like Oklahoma Symphony Orchestra violinist Ann Cafferty.
Certainly, individual talent is critical, but a symphony depends on blending individual talents into a unified performance. Sooner Federal experts work together too, blending their talents to provide the best possible service. Outstanding performance. That's why Sooner Federal has grown to where it is today.
Thanks, Oklahoma, for making us your largest savings and loan.
Over the past 50 years, cars have changed, gasoline has changed, and a lot of people have changed to Skelly because one thing's never changed.
At Skelly, we've never stopped trying to please.
Even now, with supplies lower than usual, we're making every effort to get quality Skelly gasoline to you, here at today's Sign of Value.
At Skelly, we've never stopped trying to please. For 50 years, a welcome sign where we've never stopped trying to please.
Many of us know what it's like to wait for a train at a railroad crossing, and the citizens of Wagoner are more than aware of that particular situation. Now they plan on doing something about it. John Hassler of our Muskogee Bureau reports the citizens want an overpass.
As many as 38 trains pass through Wagoner every day. Because there is no overpass in the town, traffic is systematically delayed, sometimes as long as 30 minutes. Not only do the trains cause traffic tie-ups, but also cut off vital services, such as ambulances and fire trucks to the east side of the city. A recent straw vote among citizens was held to check opinions about construction of an overpass. Of the 1,050 people polled, 1,000 favored the proposal. Only 27 opposed it due to the location. The proposed overpass site is on 3rd Street. It would cause a slight rerouting of traffic, but it is the best location according to city officials because this is where the MKT and Missouri Pacific tracks cross each other.
At this time, we've spent some money getting a feasibility study on it. We studied 5 or 6 different locations. We have a location picked out at this time. And the next deal that we need to do, we've contracted the Oklahoma State Highway Department, the Highway Commissioner, our state senators, and our state representatives, and we're trying to get some funds from them. We've also contacted the Missouri Pacific and the Katy Railroads, both of them, see if they're participating in it. Then we need to study what kind of funding we want to do it, bond issue or whatever.
Mayor Peters also stated negotiations will continue with the 2 railroads, and the overpass proposal, in all probability, will be decided by a bond election. For Total 8 Tulsa and Wagner, John Hassler reporting.
Well, it's so much colder out tonight than it was last week at this time. I hope that doesn't mean snow is close behind.
No, not for us. They are having some snow in the Rocky Mountains, but this is Tulsa, and we may have some snow later, but not yet. Let me look at this. This happened earlier today. This is interesting. Company 25, the Tulsa Fire Company, they lost their fire hose, and they weren't aware of this until someone called them. They lost exactly, I don't know who measured this, but 1,500 feet of their fire hose. It's strung out the length of 51st Street between Memorial and Sheridan, and Chief Russell says his men were out driving the district when the hose worked its way off the truck, but someone called, and they got it back on the truck, and everything is just fine. That's Company 25. Now, let's check that satellite picture. And we do have a low-pressure system that is moving, and it was down in southern Texas earlier. It's now moved up, and there is some cloud cover from this low-pressure system in southern Oklahoma, and most in southeastern Oklahoma. The low-pressure system will move across Arkansas tonight, and there will be some cloud cover more in southern Oklahoma and southeastern Oklahoma. And then in the morning, there's a possibility that we might have some cloud cover in Tulsa. But we're not calling for any precipitation until Tuesday. That radar is clear, so let's check the national map. And Alamosa, Colorado, 16 degrees below zero. That was the cold one. 87 degrees in Fort Myers. We have a high-pressure system that is keeping us clear right now. This cold front and low-pressure system will do nothing to us. It has dumped 4 inches of snow in many areas of western Montana, but the cold front will be moving down across the Channel 8 viewing area and causing nothing but high cloud cover. However, a low-pressure system that's in the Pacific will move down into the Channel 8 viewing area around Tuesday, and that's when we're calling for some of that precipitation. Otherwise, not bad. Record temperatures in New York City, 73 degrees today, 70 degrees in Richmond, Virginia. Very, very nice temperatures, and that's because of the jet stream that is moving up very unusually from south to north this time of the year. Let's check the national map. Currently, we do have cooler temperatures tonight. We're down into the 40s and the 30s around the Channel 8 viewing area, 33 degrees in Fayetteville. Those highs tomorrow will be pleasant. We will still have some pleasant temperatures, 60s and 50s around the Channel 8 viewing area, 55 in western Arkansas. And currently we have a fair condition out there. Temperature 44 degrees, the humidity 62%, the wind from the south at 6, pressure 30.05 and falling. And to precipitation today, an area drop this month, 5 6/10, normal 1 87/100 of an inch. Sun will rise tomorrow morning at 7:10, will set tomorrow night at 5:11. Tonight, mostly clear, kind of chilly, more cloud cover in the south and southeastern portions of the Channel 8, or rather of Oklahoma, 34 degrees, and also in western Arkansas there'll be some clouds tomorrow. Morning clouds tomorrow, sunshine later, pleasant 60 degrees, and then Sunday night, clear, cold, and chilly, 34 degrees. Monday, windy and sunny, nice for this time of the year, 62 degrees. Tuesday, partly sunny, milder, a chance of showers, 50-50 chance on Tuesday, 64 degrees as the Pacific low pressure system hits us. And then Wednesday, intervals of clouds and sunshine, cooler, 57 degrees, not bad. 61 degrees today, 34 degrees last night. Very pleasant for a big football weekend.
Thank you, Dan, and we'll continue with that big game in just a minute.
Make this Christmas a Christmas to be remembered with unique gifts from Antiques Incorporated Christmas Shop. Bright and delicate tree ornaments that will set your tree ablaze with color and light. And festive table toppers, delicate dishes, elegant centerpieces, and candles to kindle the holiday spirit. Stuffed stockings with uncommon gifts for children for under $5. And one-of-a-kind gifts sure to please the most discriminating. All can be found at Antiques Incorporated Complete Christmas Shop, Highway 62 in Muskogee.
It's a bird.
It's a plane.
It's a Super Saver.
On her way to Nichols Super Saver Foods, where she can get the best meat buys in northeastern Oklahoma. Nichols Super Saver Foods feature USDA choice beef, 100% pure ground beef, USDA grade A fryers, and if you wish, Nichols will special cut meat for you. Be a Super Saver. Shop Nichols Super Saver Foods in Chakotah, Eufaula, and McAllister.
Hey, Super Saver. Nichols Super Saver. Super Saver. Nichols Super Saver.
Beautiful carpets make beautiful homes, and Grigsby's carpets stay beautiful longer. They're America's finest brand names like Milliken, a top quality carpet in a wide selection of textures at prices no other dealer can match. Because Grigsby's buys direct from the mills and picks up their orders in their own fleet of trucks, they're able to sell to you for less, and they guarantee your satisfaction at the lowest price available. Grigsby's, with 2 locations in Tulsa and now a new store in Claremore.
One of the binding ties of the Creek Nation is their willingness to work together, helping and serving, young and old alike. Available now, as the result of concerned tribal leadership, is a program of employment and training for all Indian people in the Creek Nation service area. This is now your time to learn and get involved. Call the Creek Manpower Center. We need your mind.
Owen Field in Norman had to be the loudest place in Oklahoma today as 70,000 fans cheered the Sooners to victory over Nebraska. Well, not everyone could be at the stadium, but that didn't mean other fans couldn't be there, at least in spirit. Guy actually went to one game-watching session at Chi-Chi's restaurant.
Out rather quietly, with nervous anticipation or smug confidence, almost like a volcano ready to erupt. And it did.
Billy Sims.
But when that other team had the ball, the cheers turned to jeers. And out of these seemingly civilized mouths came such barbaric cries as kill them, annihilate them, pound their heads into the artificial turf, and some other phrases we cannot repeat. In short, the crowd got its wish.
Now it is Oklahoma backed up on
as the game wound to its final seconds, with the Sooners touting a tenuous 3-point lead, someone remembered last year and mumbled, "Don't fumble it, Billy." And he didn't. And when it was all over, one fan summed it up quite well.
It was good. It was great. It's better than last year.
She said it all, didn't she?
I saw you out there cheering at Chi-Chi's.
Oh, at least I didn't lose my voice this year.
Sooner fan all the way, guy. I tell you what, get those bags packed, call the airlines, confirm those hotel reservations because the Sooners are headed to Miami for the Orange Bowl this year. The Sooners earned the trip with a hard-fought 17-14 victory over the Cornhuskers today. OU opened the scoring in the second quarter, but not on this beautiful 68-yard run by Billy Sims, pretty as it is. A clip at the 15 nullified the touchdown. Well, the Sooners did finally get on the scoreboard with a 31-yard field goal by freshman kicker Mike Keeling, 3-0 Oklahoma at this point. But the Huskers come back. A 9-play drive capped off on this 11-yard pass from Jeff Quinn to Jarvis Redwine, who just gets into the end zone. 7-3 Nebraska. That's at halftime. In the second half, OU regains the lead through the air. J.C. Watts hitting tight end Forrest Valora. Nobody's going to catch him. 58-yard touchdown, 10-7 Sooners. In the fourth quarter, Billy Sims goes back to work, and how? Look at him go. 71 of his 247 yards rushing on the day, with this run all the way down to the Nebraska 9-yard line. Great run. Just a few plays later, on fourth down, Watts goes over for the score, and it was needed, because the Huskers went right back down the field, and watch very closely right here. The center leaves the ball on the ground. The quarterback never touched it, never picked it up. The right guard did, though. That's Dan Schleusner. An intentional fumble, but it works anyway. He rolls in for the touchdown, bowls over Mike Babb, but that is as close as Nebraska would come. Oklahoma holding on for the 3-point victory and doing that victory dance that they do so well down in Norman. The Oklahoma Sooners over Nebraska today. And don't forget, you can see all the highlights and hear Coach Barry Switzer's comments on the big game on the OU Replay Show with Sports Director Chris Lincoln. That's at 6 o'clock tomorrow night right here on Channel 8. Well, the Sooners didn't have the market cornered on exciting games by any means today. The OSU Cardiac Cowboys stopped just a few hearts as well as they pulled out a last-minute 13-10 victory over Iowa State this afternoon. The Pokes scored just once in the first half on a field goal by Colin Ankerson, who was merely just warming up for bigger things to come today. There it is, boots it right through the uprights, 3-0 Cowboys at this point. But with the score knotted at 3-all in the third quarter, though, Worley Taylor, number 33, watch him go, 9 yards for OSU's only touchdown on the day. Worley had a total of 182 yards rushing, fell just 6 yards shy of the 1,000-yard mark for the season. Iowa State tied it up at 10-10, but the Cyclones have the ball with 3.5 minutes left in the game when ISU fumbles. John Corker, there he is, falls on the ball, number 45, and recovers the ball at the enemy 47. Well, after Worley Taylor picked up 30 yards in the final drive, it's up to Colin Ankerson to win it, and he does. Watch it, a 43-yard field goal coming up. The pressure's on. No pressure at all for Colin Ankerson. That kick not only won the football game, but also broke a school record for field goals in a single season. So a super afternoon for the Cowboys, as well as the Oklahoma Sooners. The Cowboys finishing up 7-4 in the season, third in the Big 8 Conference. And Jimmy Johnson, hey, they don't even need to vote on the Big 8 Conference Coach of the Year this year. We'll have the coach and all the highlights for you tomorrow afternoon at 4 o'clock, right here on Channel 8 with the Jimmy Johnson Show. Well, the Arkansas Razorbacks, you say. We haven't forgot about them. It appears as though they're headed for the Sugar Bowl now, though things are still up in the air just a little bit at this point. The Hogs smothered SMU tonight in Little Rock. Wasn't even close, 31-7. The Hogs finish up 10-1 on the season. Other scores from around the country. First in the Big 8, Missouri clobbers Kansas 55-7. Colorado salvages some pride with a 21-6 victory over Kansas State. And we want to mention, change the time on that OU show. It is 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. We're told that OU football will be on. In the Southwest Conference, as we continue with the scores, it's number 6 Texas over number 17 Baylor, 13-0. And checking the rest of the top 20 now, number 1 Alabama, number 2 Ohio State were idle. Number 4 USC in action. They clobbered UCLA 49-14. Number 10 BYU, well, they squeaked by San Diego State, 63-14 the score there. Number 19 South Carolina upsets number 13 Clemson, 13-9. And number 18 Tulane over LSU, 24-13. Georgia beats Georgia Tech 16-3, and they stay in contention for that Sugar Bowl berth. Well, to high school football now, and looking ahead to round 3 of the playoffs next Friday night in Oklahoma. In Class 4A, first of all, it will be Hale hosting Enid. Midwest City is at Lawton. In Class 3A, there's the Class 4A, now the Class 3A, McAllister versus Jenks and Guthrie versus Zeta. In Class 2A, Clinton is at Wewoka, Durant entertains Grove. In Class A, Vian travels to Hartshorn, Ionola hosts Commerce. And by the way, we'll have a report this week on the Class B Barnsdall Panthers, who play Crescent next week in round 3 of the high school playoffs. Well, last night in basketball, OSU rather handily knocked off Estonia of Canada in an exhibition game over at Stillwater. And tonight against TU, well, Estonia played a closer game against the Golden Hurricane, but they came up with the same results. TU defeating the Canadians in this exhibition 79-78, but the Hurricane had to go to overtime to do it. Bob Stevenson and Ed Lindblad teamed up. They each had 14 points to be the high scorers on the night for the Golden Hurricane, but Ty Nilsson and Russ Sublett had to win it at the free throw line in that overtime period. Again, the final out of the Assembly Center tonight, TU defeating Estonia of Canada 79-78 in overtime. TU opens the regular season next Friday night at home against North Carolina Greensboro. So a super day in sports. Everybody having a winning day today. What a great game.
Great day for the fans and the players.
That's right.
Carl, thank you. We'll be back in just a moment.
Give the little gift that brings big smiles. McDonald's Christmas gift certificates. They go over great, because now you get a free Grimace with each $5 book you buy. Just blow him up, set him up, and he goes over every which way, bouncing back again and again. Give the little gift that brings big smiles. Give a $5 book of McDonald's Christmas gift certificates and get a Grimace free. They both go over great with everyone. Now at participating McDonald's.
Your Ford team is trucking at Hallett. Yes, those are Ford dealers behind the wheel, putting a special shipment of 1984 by 4 Ford trucks through their paces to see how they handle on curves, on the straightaway, how Ford's new independent front wheel suspension eases you over every bump, and they're checking out the new 4x2s. Great looking outside, unheard of luxury inside. Why don't you get behind the wheel? Get a great deal, too, at your Ford team now.
Hi, folks. Billy Parker here for my favorite, James Country Style Sausage. It's the lean one. That's because the James boys use the choice cuts of pork. Then they blend in their secret seasoning that gives James its special flavor. Y'all take it from me now. There's no sausage quite like it. It's the lean one, James Country Style Sausage.
The Johns Furniture Corporation recently opened our newest factory, which manufactures top-quality recliners. So here's our newest product, and here's an introductory offer to get you to try it. This 3-position recliner for only $89. Under the DuPont nylon covering, you'll find John's famous solid hardwood construction, not soft pine or plyboard like you'll find in some brand-name recliners. Here's another special on a recliner that rocks and reclines for only $129. Come see and save on our brand-new line of recliners at your nearest John's Furniture Factory store.
If you're as confused about those times for the football shows tomorrow as I was just a little while ago, we are here to clear it up for you. OSU, the Jimmy Johnson Show, will be shown at 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, not 4 o'clock. And the OU Replay Show with Chris Lincoln and Barry Switzer comes on at 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. So remember, OSU at 3, OU's at 4.
Total 8 Tulsa, brought to you tonight by Antiques Incorporated, NICHOLS Super Saver Foods, and by Grigsby's.
That's our news. Gunsmoke coming up next. Thanks for being with us, and enjoy your weekend.